Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are here for the very first match of the Vancouver Sevens that we are going to be covering. Samoa taking on Wales. My lighting seems to be a little bit off. I believe that is because we are currently sitting at 4:40 a.m. New Zealand time. Not quite as nice of a time zone as it was for the Singapore Sevens, but nonetheless, we are going to be up and we are going to be covering plenty of these matches. So if you are new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. But first of all, currently, Scotland versus Ireland. There is 20 seconds left on the clock. Ireland winning that game 14 points to 12. And a big surprise for that opening game of the round was actually the fact that we saw Argentina and France draw in a game, which was a very interesting situation. I keep on moving that because that's going to really annoy me, but hopefully it's not too bad. But we'll all look through at the starting lineups now for Samoa and Wales. First of all, for Samoa, it is going to be Maliko. Then it's Sione. He was playing very well last week in the Singapore Sevens. Valvasa Afa there at 1. Then Paul Scanlon, he was an important feature in the Samoan lineup last week. Then Malani Matavao with that experience. Of course, such a young side here in Samoa. They are going to be a very tough competitor. That's made it a lot worse, hasn't it? That's not the button that I was after. We'll leave it like that, and hopefully that fixes it for a little bit longer. But then also Steve Onisai, he was absolutely tremendous last time for the Singapore Sevens. And then Owen Fitu there in the starting lineup. Then for Wales, it is going to be Tom Brown, and there also Sinawalski. I feel like I pronounced that just a little bit wrong. Then it is Swanik, Trahan, Williams. That is Morgan Williams, Tom Williams, and then Ewan Jones slotting in there at number 10 for them. Off the bench is Falaniko, also Sautui Huta, Opitai, Falerangi, and then Purcell there for Samoa, Lewis, Lennon, Rossa, Chris Smith, and Callum Williams there for the Welsh. But now looking forward to this game. Like I mentioned, it should be an absolute cracker between these two sides. Both sides would love to be able to make it through this group stage. Alongside them in their group, they have got New Zealand and Japan, which is both going to be, I mean, one side more than the other in terms of the challengingness of those two oppositions. New Zealand and Samoa, they will play in New Zealand time about 11:30 a.m., and that should be a very exciting one to see. But currently, Ireland, they are sitting top of Pool D, and this game is about to take place for Pool B. It is the third match of the Sevens circuit that we are going to get to see in Vancouver. But then after this, we have got a week off, and then it is actually back to the Women's Sevens, I believe, or maybe another week after that. But we will be covering that on the channel as well. So be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you guys haven't already. But Pool A is about to have, hang on, Pool A, Pool B? Pool B. Okay, Pool B is where Samoa and Wales. Now, Samoa ranked 16th. They should be way higher than that, in my opinion. They played absolutely phenomenally last week, and I'm hoping that they will be able to do the same with this lineup. But they have got 3 co-captains for their lineup, Afa, Maliko, and Matavao. And I feel like they've really distributed the kind of, I guess, decision-making between the 3 Samoan guys. And hopefully that will be one of their upscales in this matchup against Wales, who have got some very good players in there. Trahan is the captain at number 1, and then also Tom Williams and Morgan Williams, both going to be ready to go for this game. But this is the first of 14 games of the Sevens that we are going to be covering for tonight. We are going to be back for the quarterfinals, semi-finals tomorrow, and also the final. But Samoa, if they get off to a great start here, all they've got to do is be a little bit higher than Wales, and they will have a great chance of being able to qualify for the quarterfinals, in which last time they unfortunately, I believe, they either just missed out or when they qualified, unfortunately, they did get knocked out. I think they might have gotten knocked out of that quarterfinals for the Singapore Sevens. But Onisai is one that I'm watching out for in this game for Samoa. And also, I'm going to say Valvasa Afa as another player. But now the referee in charge of this game, it will be the Australian Jordan Way, 117th match on this series. So plenty of experience for him. Samoa, their discipline was pretty good last week. And Wales, they will be disappointed to not have made it to the quarterfinals, but now this is their massive opportunity. If they get themselves a win here, you'd have to say they would be moving just a little bit closer to being able to become quarterfinalists. But it is going to be kicked off by Wales to get this game underway, and it will be Trahan who is going to be kicking off this one for Wales, doing a couple signals, making sure everyone knows exactly what the plan is for this kickoff. And it is kicked off only just the 10 meters, beautifully taken by Samoa, though, and it was the captain Matavao. Does get his hands on it as soon as Samoa have got this ball in hand. It's always dangerous, and it is going to be a massive fend there from the number 1 Afa. And a penalty straight away for Samoa. I believe that is for not releasing, so they are going to get to take the quick tap there. Scanlon Takes it quickly now, slinging it back across. A little bit of a loose pass for Samoa there. But it is going to be sitting up nicely for Matavao. Now with the drawn pass out to Onisai out on the wing. Brilliant pace, brilliant speed. He's still going. He's bumping off Trehan and he runs straight over the top of him. And Onisai scores the first try of the match. I mentioned about how he was one to watch. He is certainly not just one to watch for this game, but the whole competition. Steve Onisai scores his first try of the competition, but brilliant step on the outside. The Welsh player on the wing, he was trying his best to be able to cut him off, but just unable to do so. Too much pace, and then just run straight over the top of the opposition captain. That would have felt great for Steve on his side. Get his sevens underway, and just brilliantly done. He just gets rid of Freyan. Unfortunately, he tried to tackle him way too high, and one thing that you do need to do when you're tackling Samoans is tackle low, or else they're going to knock you out, plain and simple. And Freyan, he got lucky that the head was on the right side. That one's gone over as well for Samoa. So now 7-0. And we are back underway for the reset. It's going to be a bit loose from Wales. And the scrum feed, or in fact, sorry, the line out will go the way of Samoa now. Tom Williams just not quite able to regather that off the kickoff. Okay, Scanlon has got the option. Scrum with the line out. They're taking the scrum and scored 17 tries. And at their last week, their best since London 2019. And that one for Samoa, and also waited a week long for this commentary all the way from Kenya, says Austin. So I do appreciate you being here, mate. We have actually got a few Kenyan games that are going to be coming up in the future. I believe we are doing Kenya versus Fiji, Kenya versus USA, and actually Kenya versus England, I think we have got coming up. So I believe we are doing all three of the Kenyan fixtures, or maybe they aren't playing England. That might be the wrong one. That's going to be the penalty to Samoa once again. Now the quick tap taken by Sione, who does want to keep the front foot going forward for Samoa. Matavao, great tackle on him. And I believe now it's a penalty to Wales. Brilliant low tackle from Morgan Williams that time. I'm taking the quick tap, trying to attack the line. They have got the captain on the wing. They decide against using him just for now. I'm going to have to look through at a few of these names of the Welsh players. I didn't actually get a chance to cover any Welsh games last week for the Singapore Sevens, so I will have to look over at some names every once in a while. But Trehan now passing it off nicely. Ball on the inside back to the captain, Trehan. Sitting on the halfway line of Samoa all the way. And there says Lafili, and a brilliant start to the match for Samoa. Steve Onisai is certainly one to watch out for throughout this game. And that experience of Matavao Sione down the wing with a great tackle there. Hugely close to the touchline, and it is going out. Can't wait for the Kenya games. But we shall be battered by Fiji, says Austin, although you never know. It's always, that's the thing. Sevens are so unpredictable. You can never quite know exactly what's going to happen up until it does. But now it will be the line out here for Samoa. Man, you up early, says Kanye. More, I guess you could say, up late in regards of we started our live streaming. Okay, we actually started 12 hours, 20 minutes ago. And we have got another 9 hours of live streaming that we are going to be doing on the channel. So we're doing a 21.5-hour live streaming day today. So it's probably the longest we've ever done, possibly the longest we will ever do on the channel. But it's going to be worth it because there's going to be some very good rugby on this side. Great offload to Matavao now. Running hard, stepping. Oh, no, he's lost his footing. And that would have been a certain try if he had been able to run all the way. Scanlon now firing it back to Matavao. It's a knock-on advantage. And the penalty now for Wales. Accidental offside there by Matavao. If his foot didn't get stuck in the turf, we actually saw a slip in the earlier game between Scotland and Ireland. So I'm wondering how good it is going to be for being able to run on the surface. It looks pristine, but every once in a while looking at it, it seems like there's just a little bit too much grip at times that your feet just don't quite allow that stepping motion to take place, and instead you kind of get yourself indented in the turf. But now Trehan will be throwing this one in. Currently 2 minutes 40 left off this first half, going deep in the line out, and Trehan now firing it back across for Wales. They need a try, and they need one soon. Nice pop pass up from Williams. One of the Samoan players down in the back play, I do see. Now another good run from Tom Williams. Both Williams working hard now. It is going to be the other Williams brother. That's a double blow of the whistle, and I believe this is going to be a yellow card for one of the Samoans. And that is not going to be ideal. It is the captain, or one of the captains, Matavao there. And Milani Matavao, he will not be able to return for the last 2 minutes of this first half. He might get about 18 seconds at the end if he's lucky, but it was a deliberate knockdown, clearly offside. And because of it, he does get himself in a bit of trouble. Now they will go for the scrum, and they have got the man advantage in the back line here. Now, Wales with a man advantage in sevens. An advantage can be everything, and it can be huge for them. If they score 2 tries before the end of this first half, that will certainly have Samoa in a little bit of trouble. But the Samoan defence, they will certainly not want that to happen. Waiting for it at the back. Taken by Srehan now. Pass it back across. They've got another advantage here for Wales, and they just need the wide cutout pass. That is fought by about 5 years. So they will be going back for the advantage initially. Hooker binding is the call from Jordan Way, but Matavao will be disappointed to be 2 minutes in the sin bin here, right at a time where his team was starting to find that momentum. Only the one try scored in this first half, and that was on his side. But now getting ready. Kick this one for the touchline by the looks of it for Wales here. Oh no, instead actually taking the quick tap. So they've got that man disadvantage for Samoa. Now backline movement, Williams. Oh, it's dropped. And that is the mistake there. Unfortunately for, oh, this is a hard name, Sainawowski. Believe he has just ended up dropping that ball, which is not ideal for Wales with that man advantage. And it was just a little bit too far out in front of him. Should have been an easy enough take for him. But did get it wrong. Slams it onto his boot out of frustration. And now Samoa, they have only got a minute left of that yellow card. And currently Matavao, he will be rearing to go a couple minutes off. You know, not too bad for the fitness overall if you do come back fresher than ever. And he will be able to really put in the effort for the last 20 seconds of the first half of this matchup. Ball fired out the back. Scanlon now trying to step his way around the Samoan back. Now waiting for their opportunity. Now it's a nice drive forward here. For it was Owen Fitu just on the 22 currently for Samoa, going back across. Good run forward. Beautifully done by, I believe it is Sione. He's got pace. In fact, no, it's not Sione. Instead, it is going to be Apelu Maliko. He scores the try. And it's a full field try for Samoa. And now it is going to be Va'a Apelelo or Apilo Maliko, who was able to score the try. Brilliantly done. And even with a man disadvantage, Samoa still looking dangerous in this one. Big fend on Williams. Goes through the gap. And he said, yep, that'll do me finally. And we will be going straight through, scoring the try. And Samoa now have a 12-0 lead going into the second half. And this should become 14-0 as it is straight out in front for the kicking opportunity. But now they'll be back to the 15, or not the 15, sorry, the 7 men on the field. Yes, there are 15 when you think about it, 7 for each side and the referee. That one has gone over 14-0 now. And they have still got time for one more kickoff, but Matavao back out there. That is the main thing for Samoa. In fact, with having him off, they benefited. They were able to score, and they were unable to get themselves any points on the board there for Wales. It's kicked off long. It's gone very long. It's in the end goal area. He has to put the ball down, and I believe now, okay, time up on the clock. So now they are going to be going off for halftime. No, they're not. In fact, they're going to be from the halfway line because they did kick it into the end goal area of the Welsh. It does mean that they are allowed one last reset, and it seems like they will be possibly taking on the scrum. Yes, they do. Now, Samoa, they are going to have to commit 3 men to this front row. I believe they have got Afasua, and then also Sione is in there, the scrum half of Frehan, about to feed this ball in for Wales. A good start to the match for Samoa. A great start to the Sevens campaign here in Vancouver. Different time zone than what we saw in Singapore. Different conditions as well. A little bit cooler at the moment in Canada, but now backline movement. No, instead Tom Williams tries to go himself. In fact, that was Morgan Williams. Now Tom Williams gets his hands on the ball. I'm going to do that quite a bit, probably mix up the Williams. And this one now, ball on the outside, knock on once again. Not a good pass out wide, and it's gone through the hands of their number 3, and that will be halftime 14-0 in favour of Samoa. Great start to the 7 circuit for them. And currently, they'll take 14-0 every day of the week, I would think. Definitely with the fact that they were a man down at one point in this game. But the next game that we are covering on the channel, I believe, is New Zealand versus Japan, which should be a very exciting one. New Zealand more than likely should run away with that by maybe 30-plus points, but we will have to wait and see. We did see the dominance from Fiji beating Japan by around 60 points it was in last week's Singapore Sevens, but now it is going to be a whole new challenge, a new week, a new draw. But Samoa and New Zealand, one thing stays the same, and that is the fact that they are both in each other's pool. So they have got their game a little bit later on in New Zealand time, but currently sitting 4:54 a.m. New Zealand time. It's a bit late, but we have still got another 7 hours? 9 hours of Sevens live streams that we are going to be doing on the channel. So if you are new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and be sure to also check out the Kiwi Lad Sport channel, which is the pinned comment up in that top corner. But Samoa, first half, they had more of the possession, they had more of the territory, and they actually made less passes in that first half, which is pretty surprising because of the fact that you'd think that Wales giving Samoa so much possession would not be a good tactic. And I feel like they have learnt that one now. And I'd like to think that they'll change up the tactic in the second half. Wales, they will have their big game up against New Zealand and Japan a little bit later on today. But by the end of today's Sevens fixtures, we will know exactly who is through to the quarterfinals, the semi-finals. We will have to wait and see who wins those quarters. But whoever is top of this group, I believe, then takes on the top of Pool C, I want to say it is. So it could end up being New Zealand versus a possible, I think it's actually a possible South Africa or Australia, but I could be wrong for that one, so don't quote me on that. But now Onisai is relatively happy with that first half. He scored himself the try. Alongside him, that was a try for the number 8, Va'a Apilo Maliko. Now Samoa will be kicking off for the second half. Matavao about to get us back underway for 7 more minutes of out-and-out action of the Samoa and Wales seven sides. It's going to be kicked off short from Matavao. Nicely done by Canada. In fact, Wales to keep that ball in the field of play, but then did end up hitting a Samoan player, and now it will be the line out for Trehan. He's had to be very busy throughout the early stages of this match. In fact, I've seen him so much compared to all the other players. You'd have to say he's working about twice as hard as anyone else out there on the field. Trehan once again goes across the Williams now. Waiting for this ball, seeing whether or not they can link up on the outside with a very nice move here. By the looks of it, it is going to be the number 10 for this one, Ewan Purse-Jones, who is dragged down currently inside of their 22 backline moving once again here, now put in on the afterburners down the wing for Wales, but they just haven't been able to really get through and get too many meters. Tom Williams that time now dragged down. It's going to be the quick tap taken there by the Welsh because they have been able to get themselves that goal line, or not the goal line, sorry, that penalty for not releasing. Now wrestled down by Onisai. It was Williams, another penalty. Okay, so starting to give away a few too many in the early stages here for the discipline side of things for Samoa. But currently the last 5 penalties, 4 of which have been up against Samoa in this match. Now running it straight sideways, flicks it back on the inside. And they seem to be really moving horizontally rather than vertically in this. I think that's the right way around. They're going straight up and down rather than straight forward towards the line. Nice backline movement here. Goes out to Tom Williams. Now finds the offload. Nicely done to Jones. Now a bit of space down the wing, almost breaking the ankles of one of the Samoan players, the way that he had to try and change his direction in such a hurry. Williams now goes back. The referee having a bit of a chat to Samoa. Now beautiful inside ball, and Wales will score. And it is going to be between the sticks. And the first try will come from one of the replacements in this one, which is Irvin Rossa, who was able to go over and score himself the try. But nicely done by Wales to get themselves just a little bit further back into this game. We've already seen one draw in the first few games of the Sevens, and that was Argentina versus France. And you'd have to wonder what that does for both of the sides in terms of how well they will be able to go forward in the competition. But brilliantly done there by Wales. Samoa unable to defend it, and now they get themselves the nice 7 points back on the board, and the score will be 7 points to Wales, 14 to Samoa. Still another 5 minutes left in this game. Anything can happen in that amount of time. They made 9 passes in a row. Very nicely done by Wales, which just shows when they can hold on to the ball without the handling errors. They are a lethal side on attack. Kicked off just short of the 10. It's going to be bouncing up nicely for Onisai. Close to a knock on there for Samoa, but just hanging on to it. Now Sione going to be looking for a step instead. Get and wrestle backwards once again. Brilliant tackle from Williams. It sounds like I'm just saying Williams every single time I see a player for Wales, but that literally is the case. Scanlon now, though, I know his name, and he is going to be going in for the try unless he is caught by Jones. Oh, it's a hard slam onto the ground, but he's got it down, and Scanlon now scores the try for Samoa, and that will give them possibly enough of a lead to be able to go on to win this game. But Paul Scanlon goes over, just brilliant pace shown, steps around couple of the Welsh players, and then from there was a brilliant chase from Jones, who all but was able to stop him, slapped hard onto the ground, but was still able to get it down for Scanlon, and that is going to be another try for the Samoans. Geez, he hit the ground hard there. It certainly was a hard chase from Jones. Wasn't willing to give it up, wanted to try and get the hands on the ball for a possible chance at a knock on there. Every point in sevens is crucial, and that's going to be 5 of them. In fact, 7 of them now for Samoa, with the kick from straight out in front going over. 21 points to Samoa, 7 now to Wales in this matchup with only 3 minutes left. Samoa, they didn't take many passes at all there. 3 defenders beat them, though, in 3 phases was all it took for Samoa to be able to get themselves over the try line once again. Now taken very nicely by Wales. They are currently inside of their own half. Going back across to Trehan. Now ball on the outside, nicely done. And it was actually the young try scorer, I believe it was, at number 6. No, sorry, that is actually Callum Williams, who did have that ball down the wing. Now flick pass up from Wales. They need to find a gap, and they need to find one soon. Tom Williams drove him backwards and a nice tackle. Now it is a quick man, number 11, Lloyd Lewis, who is a dangerous individual. That's a little knock on, and now it's going to be taken back by Samoa, waiting for the ball on the inside to on his side, flicks it out the back. He does end up dropping it as well, though. And now it will be the scrum feed for, it was Wales, but there was nice little bit of skill there from Samoa. I believe it was Sautui Huta who did end up having a good run. Yes, it was. He got the ball, and then from there just tried to build his way up. Found a little offload on his side, but it was just a little bit too low for him to be able to regather. Now 2 minutes left. Wales need 2 converted tries. Samoa only have 19 points, but I believe, if I'm not wrong, they've got all their kicks over. But I guess I could be wrong there. Maybe they missed one of them earlier on in the match. In fact, they may have missed the first one now that I think about it. But currently now it's out to Lloyd Lewis once again, trying to go down the wing, but it's a brilliant tackle on him. And it was nicely done by Nue. It's going to be the penalty now taken quickly by the Welsh captain. Now Tom Williams and Hamish Marathon in there. And I thought it was 19-5. And this is Roman Soldiers as well, although they did get it from straight out in front. So I believe that is where the extra one came from. But the Hamish Marathon, it does continue 21.5 hours we are going to be live streaming for in the past 24 hours. Or in fact, no, actually the past 21.5 hours we will be streaming for the past 21.5 hours. A little bit of a slip there for Samoa, but they've done extremely well. And now he's almost got the line break going. Beautifully done. It's passed up to Sautui Huta. Now looking for the link up. Found Sioni's hands. And this will be another try for Samoa. I keep on calling him Sioni, but in fact, that time it's going to be Va'a Apilo. And he does end up going over. And it is Maliko does put it down. And it is a brilliant try once again for Samoa. And that is a second try in Vancouver. Possibly not the last for this match, depending on how it goes for the later stages of it. But which game of the Sevens are you looking forward to the most, Gareth? I assume that South Africa versus maybe Australia would be up there somewhere relatively high. I think Fiji, Kenya for myself is going to be a very good one to watch. As you know, it's going to be full of that physicality side of things. But it was Maliko was able to get that ball down. And now Samoa, they are going to be leading this game 26 points to 7 now. Very nicely done with only 18 minutes left now for Samoa. The next game that we are going to be covering is New Zealand, Japan. We will be switching straight over to that next live stream. So if you are new, be sure to hit that subscribe button, as we have got plenty more of the Sevens coming in the near future. But now kicked off short by Purcell, and extremely short. It didn't even go the 10 there. Samoa versus New Zealand should be fun again later on today. That is very true. Should be an awesome matchup. And Blitzbox going to smash Australia, says Gareth there as well. But yeah, they will have their confidence. Probably an all-time low here for the Blitzbox. They'd love to be able to get themselves back on the winning track, try and rebuild up to that 38 winning streak. Because at the moment, they're actually on a 3-match losing streak, which is something we did not expect from the Blitzbox for the Sevens format. Now, Trehan feeding this ball in. They've still got a little bit more time here for Wales. It's a penalty there at scrum time, pushing on the angle, and they will be able to take themselves the quick tap if they do want it here. Do they want it? They do want it. They want the scrum here. The last 7 penalties, 6 of which being up against Samoa. So that discipline, they're definitely going to have to watch that in the later stages. We did see the yellow card for Matavao in the earlier stages of this game. And you can't really afford anything worse than a yellow or more than one yellow in a game. You're going to be in a lot of trouble. Trehan feeds the ball. And it's another good push from Samoa. Now off to Tom Williams, who has been out there for the whole game, alongside Trehan. Now off to a different Williams. It was Morgan Williams down the wing now. Lewis on the inside. Now it's off to Williams. And he is going to be able to score the try there. Very nicely done by Wales to get the last-minute try in this fixture. That just gets them a little bit back into this game. Points differential will be absolutely huge now. I think they know themselves well enough. I got to come out angry with the Singapore leg. And there says Gareth. And I think their first game is up against Canada or someone along those lines. So I feel bad for Canada, because they're probably going to end up with a very angry South Africa just flying at them. The likes of Sawyers, Wapi, Selvin Davids, Zane Davids, I wouldn't want to be in front of that man, because he will run over the top of you every day of the week. But that is the end of this game, ladies and gentlemen. It is going to be 26 points to Samoa, 12 to Wales. But nonetheless, we are going to be switching over to our next live stream, New Zealand versus Japan. But I do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all in a very short